This is the third episode in our series of film tips videos. This time we're looking at the final stage in the process, the post-production or editing process. It can be a daunting stage, but at the same time a very fulfilling and creative stage. A lot of you will have shot your film on an SD card, just like the cards that you use in regular stills cameras. To get the footage off the card and onto your computer, you can either pop the SD card into a slot in your laptop or use a USB card reader, which you plug into the back of the computer. Most cameras will come with their own card reader. You can always pick up an SD card reader very cheaply. They even sell them in the Deal's chain of stores. Cameras record footage in many different file types. Some are QuickTime Movie, some are MP4, some are MXF, and so on. Sometimes you'll need to convert the files into a different format before you bring them into your edit program. But the camera manual and website will have information on all of that. Generally, you just drag and drop the files into a folder on your computer. Make sure that this folder is not deleted until the film has been completely finished. Don't delete the files once you've made a DVD. Keep the footage safe as a backup for a few extra months, if not longer. There are dozens of different free editing programs available on the web, but the ones we think are the most tried and trusted are iMovie for Macs or Windows Movie Maker for PCs. Both of these programs come free with your Mac or PC, and if they aren't on the computer, just search for them online and you should be able to download them again. Other useful free editing programs include Splice, or you have paid access to software such as Final Cut Pro or Premiere. There are many options, but for the purpose of this video, we are going to focus on iMovie and Windows Movie Maker. The art of editing is that you should never notice the cuts. You should be able to watch a film and see it seamlessly move between wide shots and close-ups without jarring. Often it is a good idea to open a scene with a wide shot so that the audience gets a sense of the geography of the room and what characters are present. Then as the scene begins to unfold, you can cut to close-up shots or mid-shots of the individual characters to emphasise certain lines of dialogue or to focus in on the reactions of other characters to a particular line. By cutting between wider shots and closer shots, the editor can decide what emotion to elicit from the audience by deciding which character's point of view we should focus on the most. Before making any edits, you should sit down and watch all of the unedited footage, often known as rushes, and make a note on paper of the clips which worked better than others. Some might have had technical issues, some might not have been as strong on performances, so make a note of the ones that work well from both of these points of view. A good tip is that often the final take in a shot is the best one, because that is the one you finished up with, before moving on to the next shot, so it's a good indication that you were happy with the shot on the day. This is too short a video to go into the ins and outs of how to put together an edit, but essentially it's like putting a giant jigsaw together. You select what section of a clip works well and select in point, then you play the clip until you want to cut to another clip, and then you select out point, i.e. a point to cut the clip at. Every single edit program has many specific online tutorials about how to use their system, and it would be too confusing to try to cover that in this video. But the important thing is to use a variety of different shots in each scene and also to make sure you cut on movement. For example, when this character is turning around, we can cut out of the wide shot just as he is about to turn, and then find the same moment in the close-up as a point to cut in on. Here are the two shots together and you will see how the two cut together very well. If you didn't make sure that the two clips cut at that moment, you could run the risk of having a double action, where he turns twice, or else he turns too quickly, and that is jarring for the audience watching. Sound effects and music can really elevate a film from somewhat interesting to extremely powerful. Think in advance about the important emotions you want to convey in your film, and then choose sound effects and music to match this. You should only add sound and music once the picture edit is almost finished. It is crucial that you don't use commercial music in your film, as this means it won't be accepted at all for film festivals, and you are actually breaking the law. However, there are websites you can access with copyright-free sound effects and music tracks. You just need to make sure that you credit the websites in your end credits. We will put a link to these websites at the end of this video. So let's assume you've watched the edit demo videos for your edit software online, and you've edited a mini masterpiece, complete with an awesome soundtrack. Now it's time to export your movie. You can't keep it in the edit program. You need to create a video file of the finished film. As the shortlisted films for this competition are going to be screened at a cinema, It's really important that the version you export is really high quality, otherwise it won't have the detail it deserves. Although a low resolution video might not look too bad on your computer or phone, when projected onto a cinema screen, it will be really noticeable how poor the quality is. If you're using Windows Movie Maker, you need to do the following. For Windows Movie Maker, you only click Save Project when you're still working on the edit. However, when you are ready to export the film, you click Save Movie. To ensure it's in the highest quality, you then select for High Definition Display. After you select this, a screen will appear where you can choose where you want to save your video file. You can rename the file here if you like also. Underneath the file name section, there is an option called Save Its Type. You will need to select the option MPEG-4 or H.264 video file. This ensures the best quality for the film. Then click Save. A progress bar will then appear as the film exports. When that is complete, your film is ready. For exporting using iMovie, you need to click the Share button at the top of the screen. Then select Export using QuickTime. A screen will appear offering you to rename your movie and select a location to save it to. In the drop-down menu at the bottom of the screen, make sure it says Export Movie to QuickTime Movie and then select Options to the right. Another window will then open. Then select Settings, just under the video title, and make sure that the video export settings are selected as H.264. Click OK and then OK again to exit the export settings, and then click Save to start exporting the film. When the film is finished exporting, you can then watch it to make sure it plays OK and looks well. For the purposes of this competition, you will need to upload your final film to YouTube to enter it in the competition. This means you need to have a YouTube account. This can be linked to an email address. It is very simple to set up a YouTube account. You will need to log into the account and then select Upload from the top right hand corner. You can then drag the film file to the box in the centre of the screen or click Select Files to upload and add the file that way. You need to have the video set to unlisted in order for it to be considered. This means it is not private, but equally it is not publicly searchable on YouTube. Once the shortlisted films have been announced, you can then switch the film status to public, but during the judging process it must be unlisted. The film will then upload to YouTube. This can take some time. Make sure that your film has a unique name. Don't just call it ICTU film, it needs a clear and defined name, and you must credit the team in the information section about the film. Once the film is successfully uploaded to YouTube with its correct title and the details of the school, and the team clearly added to the information box, you can then submit the link for entry to the competition. Don't be afraid of any elements of filmmaking. You need to just dive in and practice lots, and you are bound to get there in the end. Make sure that you don't delete any of your footage or your edit project until the competition is over, as we may need you to send us alternative versions at a later date. So you need to hang on to all those files until it's all over. Check out these links for more info and advice. Best of luck with your submissions. We can't wait to see them.